Did you know you can create lessons or develop lesson templates within your whiteboard app on your ActivPanel 7? It can be as simple as a few worksheets or a really detailed lesson with lots of pictures and illustrations. Let me show you how to do that. The first thing you're going to need is some images of your content, graphic organizers, or even student materials. For my lesson template, I'm going to be using the capture tool. And that capture tool is going to help me grab those images that I need from places like the web, Chromium, or even my Google Drive. So let me get that started. So I've kind of already started a whiteboard session for you, and we're working on coordinating conjunctions with my students. So I went into images on Google, and I found a few things that I captured. So I had my title here, coordinating conjunctions, and then because I have an infinite canvas, I'm able to put my graphics anywhere that I want to on the page. So like I added the fanboys because we're working with coordinating conjunctions. So here's that little acronym of fanboys, and remember them by using the fanboys, and we have a little song that we'd probably sing, those kind of things. And then I have another graphic that I have for my students of how do we use them, and we take a closer look, so that we would break it down into the, if it's a reason or if it's also contrasting or a consequence. So now I have this here, but I want to add a little more content to it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here to my unified menu. Remember those arrows right there? And I'm going to go to Chromium. You can use Chrome, Chromium, Edge, whatever your preferred browser is. So I'm going to open that Chromium, and I've got a couple of tabs open. Like here's where I grabbed my fanboy conjunctions, grab them here. And then here is where I need a worksheet. But I like this right here because I like to give my students a vocabulary. I want to build their vocabulary, so I want them to know what it means to be a coordinating conjunction. So I'm going to snip this, okay? It's just like your snipping tool on your computer. So I'm going to go back to the unified menu, and I'm going to use this capture tool here. So when I use that capture tool, it's going to let me bring in just what I want. Now, if I want the whole entire thing, I certainly could grab the whole entire worksheet. But I just want that definition. So after that, I'm going to hit done. And then I'm going to open it in Whiteboard. It kind of gives me the opportunity to bring it in a little more if I want to fine tune it. But I'm going to go ahead and open it in Whiteboard. So now I have my definition and the example. And if I needed to, I can increase it, I could decrease it. Or if I wanted to, kind of like I did with this over here, with my coordinating conjunctions and how we use them, I can write on my board and give my students that opportunity to see my handwriting instead of everything being snipped like that. So I have my definition now. Now I want to pull in some practice. So I'll come up here, I'll scroll up a little bit on that infinite canvas, and I want to get away from anything that would be a distraction. So I want to go in and I'm going to change my color over here. So I'm going to add some text here. I'll choose orange, and I'll say, let's practice. So I'll write that out, or I can grab that too. So I'll say, let's practice. Now I want to bring in my practice sentences. So I'm going to go back into that Chromium app right there. And then I want to capture these sentences. Now I can do a couple of things. I can capture the whole entire thing, all 10, or if I wanted to do 5 at a time, I could certainly do that. So back to that capture tool, bringing in those boxes until I get what I want. And I'll use my finger instead because that's a little easier for me. So I'll even put the little directions there. I'll get rid of some of this. All right, let's see. I think that's good for us. So I'll bring in all 10, and then I'm going to hit done. It's going to give me a preview of what it looks like, and I'm going to open it up in Whiteboard. So here it is now in my Whiteboard. So I can pull this up and my students, we can come up, I can use my tools in my locker, like my spinner tool to call somebody up to the board and fill in the blank. And I might even want to write here over to the side or bring in another graphic if I wanted to, just as a reminder to my students. So I'm going to go back into Chromium. And this time I'm going to go back into that fanboy conjunctions. And I might just pull in one of these cute graphics here. So I might pull in something like this. So if I wanted to pull something like this in so that my students will have that fanboys ready for them, I can do that as well. Now it doesn't have to be just the web. I'll tell you that right now. It can be anything that you have on your computer. You can have anything that is already within the whiteboard. It doesn't just have to be, I'm going to open that in Whiteboard. It doesn't have to be just in the Google searches that I'm doing, the Chromium or the Edge or everything. It can be anywhere. So I'm going to put this up for my students so they can see and it can remind them, oh, which ones are we using and how do we use them? So they can come up here and they can fill it out, take turns filling it out. Another note for yourself is that everything that you're capturing, remember, in your gallery is all those stored images. Here's fanboys, here's conjunctions, here's that title. So everything that I'm snipping is going to go into my saved gallery. So I can use it for later uses, or if I need it for something else, to build something else, I certainly could. So I'm going to come back into here, and remember, once again, you do also have all of these charts and templates. So if I wanted to pull in a speech bubble, and I wanted to say, add a little person here, and say, you got this, I could certainly do that, so I can be creative. I can have fun with it. When I'm ready, when my template is finished, I want to save it because I want to use it. Maybe I have 4 classes that I teach in a day. Now, the typical thing to do is to come up here and save it here with that save icon. And that's fine. That's going to save it. But remember, it's going to save it as the whiteboard, the date, and the time that you created it. So let's go up a little. Let's go to these 3 dots. 3 dots, more in the 3 dots. So I have some options here. I, as a teacher, like to be very organized. So I'm going to go right here to Save As. And it's going to pack my document. And I have some choices of where I'm going to put this template, this coordinating conjunction template. Down here at the bottom is where I pull in the title. So I might say this is going to be Unit 2, Lesson, and I'll move this out of the way. Let me move this out of the way for you so you can see Lesson 4, or I might name it Coordinating Conjunctions. And then I'm going to hit Save. Well, I need to know where it's going to save. So normally defaulted, because remember, let's go back here. Remember, whatever's in blue, that's where it's saving. So it's saving to downloads, but I can save it into internal storage, or as you see, I'm signed into my Google Drive. I can save it to my Google Drive. Why would I save it into my Google Drive? If I am collaborating with my fellow teachers on my hallway, I can throw it into a Google Drive that we share, and then they can download it onto their panels. So it's going to be easy to collaborate with them. Now, just note that you do have to download it. You just can't pull it straight from the drive. So when you open it in Drive, you're going to have to pull it and download it. And you'll know that it's your whiteboard because it's kind of got this grayed out folded corner piece of paper. So this is a template. Here's my entry or exit ticket. So I know all of these are my so-called whiteboard templates. Everything else is kind of grayed out because it's not going to save it. And another thing is like it saves it as a PWB file. That's a Promethean Whiteboard file. You'll only be able to open it on a whiteboard of ActivPanel. Okay, so now that I've got everything there, now that I've got it all situated and I'm ready to save, so I'm ready to use it with my class. Let me go ahead and open this for you again. I don't want to save it. I'm going to hit that back button here because I've already showed you how to save. So here, let me hit that back button. So now with my students, when we come in and we start using our worksheets or adding content to it, so what I can do now is I can use it, and when the next class comes in, I can just come in here as come fast or you will be late. If I put that in, and I'm going to hit this and say green, or you will be fat. The cardigan cannot be mine. So I can fill this in for my students, and then if I have any other fill in the blank stuff, do that. When my next class rolls in, well, because I have annotations on here, like let's practice, you've got this, those other things, I don't want to clear all the annotations here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here to the erase button, and then I'm going to choose what's going to erase. And it's probably going to be this whole entire document right here, this practice sheet. And then remember, it's a template, so I can use it over and over again or share it with my coworkers in my hallway. It's just like creating a slide deck or a flip chart. Just can't lock things down like we normally would on those kind of file types. But it's a really great way to get creative, let that creative spark fly, and just have fun with your designs and create some pretty amazing lesson templates just for your students. Good luck, y'all.